All right, Daniel, thank you. New tonight, Lifespan and Care New England announcing today that they will not be pursuing legal action after the Rhode Island Attorney General denied their proposed merger. The two hospital giants also withdrawing their application from the Department of Health. Last week, you may remember, Attorney General Noronha denied the application and joined the FTC in its lawsuit to block the merger, citing concerns over competition and rising health care costs.
To our continuing coverage of the coronavirus, Governor Dan McKee addressing COVID vaccination rates among school-aged children in Rhode Island. It happened during his press conference today. He says the numbers are not as high as he'd like them to be.
While Rhode Island is the nation's overall leader in vaccination, there are still groups in our state with low vaccination rates, especially elementary school-aged children. Now, Governor McKee gathered with other state officials earlier today to discuss how he plans to get the vaccine into areas of the state with children that need it the most. 4 cities in Rhode Island are home to schools that have a vaccination rate that's under 20%. Those cities are Pawtucket, Providence, Woonsocket, and Central Falls. State officials believe the low number could be due to many factors, such as parents still having a lack of trust in the vaccine. Rhode Island's health director, Dr. James McDonald, had this message for parents earlier this afternoon.
When I listen to parents, what they're telling me is they're worried about long-term complications of the vaccine. This is really the most well-studied vaccine in the history of our planet. It's the most heavily monitored vaccine in the history of our planet. We're talking about billions and billions of doses of vaccine have been given at this point. And I assure parents, this is safe and effective for your child.
In an effort to get more shots into the arms of children, vaccination clinics will be held at schools that fall under that 20% vaccination rate over the next few weeks. Governor McKee, State Education Commissioner Angelica Infante Green, and other officials gathered at Lillian Feinstein Elementary on Wednesday to announce these efforts.
These communities that have lower numbers have been personally impacted in a way that other communities have not. A lot of the students in our schools have lost parents, are now living with other relatives. So there's a lot of uncertainty, fear, mistrust, all the things that we think about. And what we need to do is do a better job of communicating how safe the vaccines are, and they need to hear from people they trust.
This announcement comes just a week out from when Rhode Island is set to lift its statewide school mask mandate. Infante Green says Providence schools will stay masked till further notice. Today she was asked when the mandate could be lifted.
Working very closely with RIDO to determine that. Right now we're focusing in on the vaccines. Yeah, we're going to keep looking at the numbers and the data. We're going to keep working. 150 were done last week. We'll see how many get done this week, and we'll continue, and then we'll make decisions accordingly.
And the first of these vaccination clinics will take place this Sunday at the Lillian Feinstein Elementary School in Providence. In Providence tonight, Hector Molina, ABC 6 News.
Now to an ABC 6 News follow-up. No more warnings for drivers in East Providence who run a red light. The city's red light cameras officially going live today. That means if drivers run red lights at 2 different intersections in the city, they'll be fined $85. Previously, drivers were just given warnings.
Well, happening right now, the Finance Committee of the Warwick City Council meeting to discuss maybe putting in those flock license plate cameras. Those are the flock cameras currently operating at Cranston, Woonsocket, and Pawtucket. These are the ones that take pictures of all license plates that go by. Police love them because if there is a crime and they're searching for a suspect or suspects, they then use the license plate information to assist in finding those suspects. We'll have an update for you what comes out of that Warwick Finance Committee meeting tonight at 11.
Now to a focus on our schools. A group of students from Dighton Rehoboth charged for spray painting racist and anti-Semitic symbols on school property. Police say they were notified about the graffiti last week, and then over the weekend they identified those responsible. Police making that announcement on Facebook, saying there is no place for hate in this community, and they say it starts with parents to have those important conversations with their children that actions do have consequences.
The conflict in Ukraine will soon have a direct impact on Americans. Experts say the sanctions placed on Russia could cause ripple effects in different markets, especially at the gas pump. ABC 6 News reporter Laura Puglisi takes a deeper dive on that impact.
It's really time to start, tightening the belt and kind of brace ourselves for no end in sight in terms of gas prices coming down anytime soon.
The price of sanctions on Russia could soon be felt at the pumps. Diana Gugliotta with AAA says it will get worse before it gets better.
It's just very possible that Russia will choose to withhold oil from the global market in retaliation for these sanctions. And that's the fear driving the market up.
Across the country, the market is already up. Gas prices in Rhode Island and Massachusetts currently sitting at $3.54 a gallon. That's up about $1 from this time last year. And it's not set to slow down anytime soon.
When we look out about 10 months, we feel that gasoline will probably continue to rise at least the full first half of this year and definitely through the summer. We're hoping for some relief and in the fall to winter.
Gugliotta says Russia's crude oil accounts for 10 to 12% of oil globally. If the supply is cut off to the global market, that'll cause prices to soar, likely reaching over $4 a gallon, levels not seen since the Great Depression. And it's not just gas that could be impacted. Emily Chanel Justice with the Harvard Ukrainian Research Institute says it could impact some foods too.
Ukraine in the past 8 years has been ramping up its agricultural production, so cereals, grains, wheat products, those sort of things.
The U.S. and Europe likely to see a large influx of Ukrainians, especially if Putin decides to invade further.
The other element of humanitarian crisis is that will displace millions of Ukrainians into Europe and potentially to the U.S. as well. The estimates that I saw yesterday were something around 5 million Ukrainians.
The hope is that the sanctions will pressure Russia into choosing a more diplomatic route. But she says only time will tell. Laura Puglisi, ABC 6 News.
Still ahead on ABC 6 News at 6 in honor of Black History Month. We're speaking with the Chief of Police in Central Falls about a variety of topics, including why it was so important for him to have a career in law enforcement.
And Crossroads, Rhode Island, kicking off an extreme makeover over one of its facilities. How it will change lives.
And later, the Fabulous Friars have a big game tonight. ABC 6 Sports Director Nick Coit has a preview into what's on the line. You're watching ABC 6, Southern New England's trusted news source.
Subaru of New England, Washington's birthday sales event is here. Feel the freedom in a 2022 Subaru Outback with symmetrical all-wheel drive. Buy with 1.9% financing or lease for just $265 per month.
Feel the freedom when you're driving in a Subaru. Come on!
Grass looks great, Zeus. Hey, could you maybe trim the hydrangea too?
Sure thing, Kevin. You want me to do the boxwoods as well?
No. Finding the right person for the job isn't always easy. But when you have an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can give you personalized advice and could help you save hundreds.
Hey, Medusa, let's boogie.
For expert help with all your insurance needs, get to know your local Geico agent today.
Somerset Liquors, quality spirits priced right. For the largest selection of beer and wine and all types of liquor coming anytime. Our staff is helpful and our prices are great. So stop in and let us help you celebrate. Somerset Liquors, quality spirits priced right.
Margaret's Boutique in North New Bedford celebrates its 30th year of excellence in fashion and unequal customer service. Shop the latest styles from designers such as Joseph Ribkop. Let Margaret find you the perfect pair of shoes or the perfect accessories. From wedding to formal or casual wear, at Margaret's, each customer receives one-on-one boutique customer service. And to ensure a perfect fit, alterations are done on premise. Margaret's Boutique. Come and enjoy an exceptional experience.
The President's Day event is going on now at Elmwood Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 2022 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. Lease for $348 a month or buy for only $44,340. And 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokees are just $45,999. Plus, brand new Ram 1500 Bighorns are only $45,999. Elmwood Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Route 44 in East Providence or online at elmwoodcdjr.com.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
To celebrate Black History Month, ABC6 is highlighting influential members of Rhode Island's Black community. Well, tonight, ABC6 News reporter Dominique Turner sits down with the Chief of Police in Central Falls to discuss why he chose this career and about the challenges and triumphs that he has experienced as a Black police officer.
Colonel Anthony Roberson grew up in the Hartford Park section of Providence. Now, with degrees from prestigious establishments like Harvard and Boston University and accolades for distinguished service and community policing, he developed efforts like Shop with a Cop and the Leading Ladies Initiative. Colonel Roberson, Central Falls' first Black police chief.
So how did you get into law enforcement?
Well, I entered law enforcement because I wanted to work closer to the community that I came in. I wanted to get out the police car. I wanted to interact when there's not a call for service, when there's not some type of emergency going on, and in that role, try to improve the quality of life for the people that I serve.
The colonel tells ABC6 News the position gives him the opportunity to give back to the community. The colonel grew up in an area very familiar with crime. He tells ABC6 News his interactions with police weren't typically positive.
I didn't have too many proactive interactions with police when I was young, but that's not to say that I didn't have any. When it did occur, it really stood out in my mind, and it just reemphasized just what impact a police officer can have on a youth and their family.
Roberson reflecting on Black History Month and what it means to him.
So when you hear Black History Month, what is the first thing that kind of comes to your mind?
Remembering, honoring the contribution that Black Americans have made throughout the state, the nation, and the world. I walk in the footsteps of giants, and I just hope to at least contribute in any way that I can.
When asked what it's like being Black and working in law enforcement, Roberson says he's felt support both in his departments and on the streets.
I've been, blessed enough to get a lot of respect from the cities that I serve, from the community, and it's I'm always just humbled by the response that people give me. I'm part of the community. You walk with humility in all that you do, and I think people see that.
In Central Falls, Dominique Turner, ABC6 News.
New at 6, Crossroads, Rhode Island, kicking off the extreme makeover of the former Rhode Island Family Shelter. It'll be turned into apartments that'll provide families with stable, permanent housing. The facility has been empty since the 10 families living there were moved into permanent housing, sparking calls to turn the facility into apartments. Construction will begin immediately. It's expected to be completed this fall.
And now, your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with Chief Meteorologist Jeff Denoyer.
What a great day. Took this picture moments ago from the RIDOT page. This is Jamestown Bridge, NK side, and not a lot of traffic, but boy, what a great day to be down by the coast, or whether you were inland, it didn't really matter. The temperatures were warm for everybody, and it was a wonderful February day. Temperatures still aren't that bad right now. You still got a little bit of time before the colder air arrives. Still holding 50s and 60s, but off to the north and west, the leading edge of some colder air, straight down to 39 in Springfield. And we knew that once we got this really warm day for today, that the colder air was going to return tonight. But it was nice while it lasted. It was a record day today. Almost hit 70 at TF Green. So much of the U.S. now is cold. You got this little sliver of warmth hugging the East Coast. Some areas in the deep south today, like in the Carolinas, hit the 80s today. But it's a colder air that's going to win out, not just for our area as we go into the rest of the week, weekend, and early next week, but much of the U.S. is going to be quite cold as well. So this little warm day was like an oasis in the desert. So right now, East Coast is pretty quiet. A few snow showers upstate New York. Turn your attention to this area of precipitation here from about St. Louis south to Memphis, a combination of snow, freezing rain, sleet, and then plain rain. And that's pretty much a pretty good example of what's headed our way. Some snow at first, it changes over to some sleet, freezing rain, and then eventually some rain. With the combination of 4 different precipitation types for the area, starting Thursday night into Friday, there's going to be some slippery conditions. Not so much for tonight or tomorrow, but for Thursday night into Friday. Winter storm watch issued for the area. What does the watch mean? It means that the conditions are favorable for some kind of weather that could cause adverse driving conditions. And at this point, we're just kind of waiting to see if this will be an advisory or a winter storm warning. That will be the next call by the National Weather Service. So Futurecast, we cleared out. Clouds return tonight. And as they do, overcast skies in the morning tomorrow. Any sunshine we have will be likely from about Providence north, but I still think clouds will win out. We're cold, all of us, temperatures in the 30s. Going to Thursday night, precipitation, leading edge of it, arrives around midnight, and it's all snow for everybody. Temperatures cold enough, upper 20s to low 30s. And it will continue to snow right into about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Snow rates could be 1 inch per hour. You pile the snow up. It accumulates for everybody, even at the coast. And then the biggest part of the forecast, how much warm air above us, not the surface, but aloft, up in the clouds, will work into this system. Will it take that rain-snow line well north? And that's the million-dollar question right now. We are hedging here at ABC6 that will happen, and therefore by 8 a.m., we're already seeing a changeover at the coast. That rain-snow line will continue to work north. You get a mixing in the middle, and then areas north stay all snow. This area here will be the most snow along the Mass Pike. But where we mix, that will limit some of the accumulation. Once the system starts to pull away, wrap around a little snow to end this thing. But by evening, most of it's out of here. And the snowfall rates, 2 to 4 at the coast, 4 to 8 for the darker blue. And I broke it down by town. You get that layer of 2 and 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7. And then you got to go 8 up towards Mansfield. Once the system pulls away, dry for the weekend, sunshine 30s, cold on Monday, and then back to the 30s and 40s for the middle part of next week with some moderating temperatures with just a little bit of cloud cover. Nick.
Thank you, Jeff. Tom Brady starring in a new movie. Apparently, he's already working on his post-football career. That's coming up next. But first, PC, back home tonight, the 11th-ranked Friars have a chance to do something they've never done in program history. We'll tell you about that and more coming up next in sports.
This Black History Month, Nissan is honoring legendary black musicians. Learn more at nissanusa.com/blackhistory.
Let's together make this winter and new year a time for renewal, rebirth, and rejuvenation. Leave behind the feelings of depression, isolation, and cold. Come home to the Briarcliff Preserve Assisted Living to make new friends and be surrounded by warmth, good health, compassion, and safety. Please call me and I will be happy to give you a tour personally.
There's enough danger out there for everyone. This week,
I can tell you to your face, I plan to escape the first chance I get.
danger is near. You don't know Victor like I do.
I've got something.
Say the word and we put my plan into place.
Men, are you struggling with erectile dysfunction? Well, you may not have to take pills any longer. There's now a breakthrough technology that can eliminate ED. I'm joined now by Andrew to tell us all about it.
Nisha, we use the most advanced form of acoustic wave therapy, which is shown to open up blood vessels and improve circulation. We've helped so many couples restore normal intimacy without the pills.
Andrew, what kinds of clinical studies have been performed on your technology?
There are over 45 clinical studies. Even Cambridge University showed our treatments to be effective. One study called it the new standard of care for erectile dysfunction.
If you are struggling with erectile dysfunction and want to turn back the clock in the bedroom, take advantage of this special offer and get your love life back.
Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction. Call Green Valley Medical Clinic. You'll get the initial assessment and blood flow ultrasound free, and a special gift proven to produce powerful results in the bedroom. A $650 value free to those that call right now. 401-414-9999.
Volkswagen has an SUV that's the perfect match for your lifestyle. Whether it's head-turning style, room for your entire family, a turbocharged joyride, or an all-electric experience. With our SUV lineup, any choice is a smart choice. More vehicles are arriving all the time. Visit your Providence Volkswagen dealer today to learn more about our vehicle lineup.
What's the ABC6 Storm Tracker's commitment to you? We're always tracking the storm. We let you know what's coming, when and how much you can expect, and most important, where is it going to hit? Stay ahead of whatever Mother Nature has in store for you. Turn to the ABC6 Storm Trackers.
Now, ABC6 Sports.
The thank you cards are already in the mail from Friar fans to UConn after the Huskies beat Villanova last night. That's a joke. I can't imagine PC fans rooting for UConn, but we say that because it now sets up an interesting scenario this week at the Dunk. The Friars start their final homestand tonight, 2 games. The first hosting Xavier at 7 o'clock tonight. If Providence can knock off the Musketeers and then get a win Saturday over Creighton on senior night, the Friars would clinch their first ever Big East regular season title. It starts with following up the comeback win at Butler tonight. And this isn't an easy one against Xavier. Program PC has never swept during a season, but Ed Cooley leaning on his experience.
Nate has been here with me for 5 years, you know, as AJ 4 years, Hawkler's in his 6th year. We're an old team, and you got to let them know that they've been in a lot of games, up, down, big, small leads. You got to try to believe in them the best you can, because it's not about coaching. It's about putting them in position to believe.
Gotta believe, right? Big night at the Ryan Center for the Rhodey women's team. They just tipped off against St. Bonaventure after honoring their seniors, being senior night in Kingston. A win for Rhode Island would set a new program record for victories in a single season, breaking the mark set in 1995-1996. Our Ian Steele is down there as we speak. We will have highlights and reaction tonight on ABC6 Sports at 11 o'clock. It's the last week of the regular season for the Bryant men's basketball team. They're, of course, led by the top scorer in all of college basketball, senior guard Peter Kiss, who averages 25 points per game. He scored 30 or more in his past 5 games. And if you watch him, you'll see that he plays with a certain edge. Well, where does that come from? It stems from his high school days, where he was a 2-star recruit.
I think it comes from me not always being very good at basketball, so I had to play with an edge to compete with guys who were more talented, more skilled, more athletic than me, and I sort of carried that as I progressed with basketball. I think it's what makes me good, and I think it's just from not being very good when I was younger and having to play with that edge to be able to compete with.
Nazis showed up to harass and then threaten a group of people at a community reading on the east side of Providence. An anti-racism rally is now underway at Billy Taylor Park, which is right across the street from where those white supremacists were holding that swastika flag. ABC6 News reporter Daniel Coates joins us now live from that rally in Providence. Daniel, what do you have?
John, an event that began at 4 with just a few dozen at that time, turning into hundreds within the span of an hour. Now, Governor McKee, as well as other community leaders, coming here to Billy Taylor Park to speak to large crowds. This gathering tonight was incited by an event on Monday evening that happened just down the road on Cypress Street. Police say a group of 15 to 20 people described as neo-Nazis showed up to a community reading holding a swastika flag outside the Red Ink Community Library. Police say the group was protesting the reading of the Communist Manifesto, which describes communist values. Today, community leaders in the area rallied and listened to leaders of the community.
Neo-Nazis are a national group. They're the biggest gang in America. So for them to feel comfortable, they could be in our schools. They could be serving my food. They could be teaching my daughter or my son. They could be a friend of ours with their mask off. But that's why we're here today.
Now, only a few remain here at Billy Taylor Park from that rally that ended over an hour ago. We were able to speak with community members about what happened here today. We'll have that and more at 11 on ABC6 News. Live in Providence, I'm Daniel Coates, ABC6 News.